Everyone, and welcome to Introduction to Psychology here at Our Lady of the Lake University for the fall 2023 semester. I will be your course instructor, Dr. De La Garza. I am currently a faculty member here at Our Lady of the Lake University in the Department of Psychology, and I'm very excited to be able to be your instructor for this online course and introducing you to the wonderful world of psychology. Now, throughout this semester, there's going to be a lot of things that we're going to be introducing you to in terms of normal and abnormal behavior within the fields of psychology. And it's going to be important for you to always remember that with Introduction to Psychology, you're really just getting now a little bit of a taste of what the field of psychology really encompasses and the various things that we do within the field of psychology. Now, as today is really an introduction to the course itself and to introduce you a little bit to how our course is going to be structured and also how it is that the course is going to be delivered every single week, I wanted to go through and take a couple of minutes and go through the actual course syllabus and introduce you to some of this information. Now, as I mentioned, my name is Dr. De La Garza. I am a faculty member here in the Department of Psychology at Our Lady of the Lake University, and I am located actually in our La Feria campus in South Texas. So if you're ever down in South Texas and you want to stop by our campus that is located in La Feria, please always feel free to come on by and say hello, and I'm always happy to sit down and chat with each of you. Now, the best way to get a hold of me are going to be through two options. The best way is always going to be through email, and I've provided you there with my email address. And the second is also going to be through my Google voicemail. You can call my Google number, which I provided there for you, and that will ring straight to my cell phone. You also have the ability to text me, and that will also send me text messages to my cell phone. But just do keep in mind in terms of what time it is that you call or send voicemail or send text messages to me. I would prefer that if you are able to send me any kind of messages or phone calls to that number anytime between 8 a.m. and 6 p.m. Monday through Friday. That would be ideal. If it's outside of those times, you're still more than welcome to send me a message or give me a phone call, but it's not likely that I will be able to answer you until the next business day. Now, in terms of our course, we are going to be covering, as I mentioned, a variety of topics this semester. So it is going to be important for you to first thing to do is to get your textbook. Now, in terms of your textbook, the textbook we will be using here is Essentials for Psychology, Concepts and Applications by Nevid. You are more than welcome to get any type of book that you want. Let that be a digital book, let that be the softcover book, whatever it is that you are able to get your hands on. I just strongly recommend that you get your book as soon as possible. Now, for week 1, which is this week, you will not necessarily need your textbook because the course is just going to be covering the actual structure of the course of what we're doing today. But starting next week for week 2, you are going to have required readings. You are going to have required discussion boards and also chapter readings that you are going to have to be doing and quizzes related to those readings. So it is going to be very important for you to get copies of your textbook as soon as possible. Now, in terms of the topics that we are going to be covering, as I mentioned, we're going to have a very wide range of topics. But most importantly, there's going to be 5 outcomes that we are hoping that each student who takes Introduction to Psychology is going to be able to attain by the end of the course. And number 1 is going to be identifying the main areas of study in psychology. Number 2, using research evidence to critically evaluate cultural beliefs about behavior, thoughts, and or feelings. Number 3, critically evaluate conclusions about behavior and drawn from research. Number 4, explain psychological concepts and apply them to explain human behaviors. And last, explain how biological functions underlie human thinking, emotions, and behavior. So ultimately, what these 5 outcomes are referring to here is that we're going to be studying thought processes, emotions, and behaviors, and all the different factors that affect us at the normal level and also at the abnormal level. And that's going to be very important for us to be able to make that distinction this semester. And we're going to do that this semester as well. Now, throughout the semester, there's going to be a couple of activities that are going to be important for you to be able to complete to be able to earn your grade at the end of the semester. Now, the first way that we're going to earn points throughout the semester is going to be through exams. You're going to have 2 exams this semester. You're going to have a midterm and a final. Your midterm and your final exam are going to be multiple choice items. They're going to be taken online through Blackboard. So right here through our course site, there's going to be a folder that's going to be labeled under our weekly modules. That's going to say midterm or it's going to say final exam. You're going to click on each of those and you're going to take your midterm or your final exam when that time comes. Now, in terms of your exams, how are they going to be structured? Your midterm and your final exam are going to be 100% multiple choice items. Now, you're going to have 100 items that you're going to have to complete for the midterm and 100 for the final exam. And you are going to have these exams be administered on Blackboard, but they are not timed. Now, although they are not timed, that does not mean that you can close out the exam and come back at a later time. Rather, once you open the exam to start the exam, you're going to have to complete the exam. Now, you have an infinite amount of time to be able to complete the exam within a given time period, but it is going to be important for you to know that once you start the exam, you do have to finish it. You cannot close it out and come back at a later time to complete it. Now, as I mentioned, you are going to have those two exams. Those exams are not cumulative in the traditional sense. So in other words, the final exam is not going to also include chapters that were included for the midterm exam. Rather, the midterm exam is going to cover, I believe it's chapters 1 through 6, and then the final exam is going to cover chapters 7 through 14. So ultimately here it is going to be important for you to know that it's only going to be specific chapters that are going to be covered in the midterm and the final, but they are not cumulative in the traditional sense, but yet some of the questions potentially are going to build upon themselves from the midterm to the final, because it is going to be important for you to recall some of that information from your midterm for your final exam. Now, for your exams are open book, open note. So you have the freedom to use your notes, your book, and also my video lectures that I'm going to be posting. Now, the second way that you're going to be able to earn points this semester is going to be through your research paper assignment. Now, at the end of this course syllabus, you are going to be able to find all the information related to your research project, to your actual research paper, and all the requirements related to font, length, how the spacing is supposed to work, and everything that needs to be included within your final research paper for your literature review. Now, as we get closer to your research paper assignment later on in the semester, I will have another video that is going to be covering specifics related to this research paper and also provide you an example of one that has already been completed. Now, additionally, you are also going to have discussion boards. There are going to be 8 total discussion boards, each one worth 2% of your final grade, yielding a total of 16% of your final grade coming from your discussion boards. Now, your discussion boards, typically, I'm going to give you a question or a specific topic to discuss within that discussion board. And once it is that you have that discussion board post given to you, you have 2 things that you need to do. Number 1 is you have to post an initial post. And number 2, you have to provide a reply post to only one other student, minimum. Now, if you want to reply back to everybody else, that's perfectly fine. That will not get you extra credit or anything like that. But I will grade you based on your reply to at least one other individual. Now, in terms of your discussion board post, they are due on the Sundays of that specific week that they are given. So you do not have discussion boards every single week. You have them sporadically given throughout the semester, and on the course calendar that I will show you in just a little bit, I will show you the due dates for each one of those specific discussion board posts. Now, in terms of the discussion boards, your initial post, there is no length in terms of your initial post, but yet it's going to be important for you to talk about the specific topic that is being given to you. Now, in terms of your reply post, all that I'm asking you to do for that one other student that you're going to reply to, do not say something like, "Great job, I agree with you, absolutely." No, our reply is going to be a well thought out response. It's going to be something that we're going to say to ourselves, okay, I've actually given it some thought, and I'm making sure that whatever it is that I'm telling this individual, they are going to be able to understand what I am saying, and that I'm providing them with some good response and some good feedback. That's all that I'm asking for in terms of the reply post. Now, both your initial and reply post are going to be due by Sunday at 11:59 p.m. of that specific week that they are due. Now, additionally, you do have quizzes. Your quizzes throughout the semester, you're going to have a total of 14 quizzes. You're going to have 1 quiz per chapter. Each quiz is worth 1% of your final grade, or worth 1 point of your final grade, as our course is made up of 100 points. Now, each quiz, just like your midterm and your final exam, they are made up solely of multiple choice items. You have 10 questions per quiz. Now, aside from those 10 questions, the quizzes themselves, again, are not timed. So once you start them, you are able to finish them at your own pace. But just as with your midterm and your final, once you start them, you do have to finish your quizzes. Very, very important. You only get one attempt for your quizzes, one attempt for your midterm, and one attempt for your final exam. So it's going to be very important that whenever you start any of these assessments, you do make sure that you are ready to go and that you're ready to finish them in the time that you started them. Now, also in terms of your quizzes, as quizzes are made up of different questions for different students, right? Because they are made up of a question bank that I have, different students are going to get different questions. To prepare you for your midterm exam, I'm going to strongly recommend that once it is that you take your quiz, you also reach out to other students who have already completed their quizzes and share your quizzes amongst each other once you've completed them. Now, if other students have not yet completed those quizzes, do not share your quizzes just yet. Once it is that that week is over, you are more than welcome to ask other students for copies of their quizzes so that way you can make up your own test bank of questions. And that way you're going to be more prepared for your midterm and your final exam. That is absolutely allowable in my course. Again, as I mentioned, so in terms of our assessments, these are our following assessments that we are going to have this semester. Again, we're going to have our midterm exam being worth 30% or 30 points of your final grade. Final exam, 30 points or 30%. Discussion board post, 16 points total. Research paper assignment, 10 points total. And last year quizzes, 14 points total, yielding us 100 points of your course or 100% of your course. Now, again, as I mentioned, it's going to be very important for you to always be completing your assignments in a timely manner. Whenever it is that they are posted, it's going to be important for you to always make sure that you are following along and completing your assignments every single week. Now, in terms of our course is going to be a course that is going to be deployed 1 week at a time. So in other words, for the start of the semester, only week 1 is available. Now, on Sunday nights at 11:59 p.m., you will have the next week become available. So that way, each week, every single Sunday night, you will have the following week then becoming available to you. So as you're submitting your assignments on Sunday night by 11:59 p.m., let that be your quizzes, your discussion boards, or whenever it is that you take your exams, the next week's assignments are going to then become available for you so you can have that entire week to be able to complete your course. I know that many times students would like everything to be available at one single time. Unfortunately, I do not like that structure very much, and I prefer this structure that we go 1 week at a time, so I make sure that everybody is following along and keeping up with the work that is being provided. Now, as I mentioned, I did want to also show you all the course schedule. The course schedule is also posted on Blackboard. For the course schedule, you will see exactly what needs to be completed every single week. So for this week, you will see that you need to, number 1, review the course syllabus and review all your components associated in Blackboard and familiarize yourself with Blackboard. Number 2, complete your discussion board post number 1. And for your discussion board post number 1, it's already loaded into Blackboard so that way you can go ahead and complete your first discussion board. And also completing what's called the email professionalism quiz. This email professionalism quiz just gives you a quick tutorial and a little quiz at the end of an article that you've read that gives you information related to how it is that you should be writing professional emails. Now, this is important for my course, and it's also important for any other course that you decide to take in future semesters. And as you're progressing through every single week, you will see exactly what needs to be completed in terms of assignments and their specific due dates and the specific days of the week that they are due. All right, that wraps up our discussion associated with our course syllabus and an introduction to the course. Good luck this semester, and if you have any questions or any concerns at any point in time throughout the semester, please always feel free to reach out to me. I will be in constant communication through your discussion boards or sending you all emails periodically throughout the semester, giving you reminders and making sure that everybody is staying on track. Thank you all so much, and I hope everyone has a great semester.